pleasure welcoming our speaker, Gendra Singh. I would like to request our advisor to introduce and welcome our speaker.
Thank you, Dana. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Joginder Singh. It's a real pleasure to introduce you to the audience. So Joginder Singh is a senior transmission engineer in the engineering services, protection and communication, engineering and asset management, electricity transmission of National Grid UK. He stays at Warwickshire. He is specialized on EHV substations, designs, protection and communication relay settings and commissioning. He is an officer authorizing the protection communication designs and settings, commissioning the substations. He involves in the 400 kV GIS substations, shunt reactor replacements, and 400 by 25 kV associated work for network rail connection in UK. He has joined National Grid 12 years ago. He was earlier in Power Grid India for 15 years. He was there involved in all the major projects, including the 765 kV project, HVDC project, and atomic projects associated with Kaiga and Kudangulam, the substations connected to that, like Kozhikode, Pugalur, Arasur, and so many substations. He was involved in the signal and diagram layouts, protection and communication, and he was there as assistant chief design engineer. After that, he was with Rural Electric Corporation of India as general manager technical for 2 years. Earlier, he started his career with NTPC. For 9 years, he was there. He was involved in Korba 3 into 210 megawatt designs, operation and maintenance of that from 1982 to 1991. He's a product of IIT Roorkee of 1982 batch, B Electrical, and he did his MTech in IIT Delhi and subsequently joined NTPC, Power Grid, REC, now with National Grid UK. Sir, we expect we hand over the platform to you to take over the lecture on digital substations.
Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
If you can put the mute, other candidate can put the mute, that will be best, because otherwise the background noise will be coming. So my topic is a kind of digital substation introductions. So let me start from the older substation. What is the older substations look like? Older substation have a, or I'm not going to talk about primary equipment. This primary equipment will be there in either digital substations or in the traditional older type substation, but most important part is the control and the protection system. In older substation, we have a mimic board. If you see the slide, this first part of this, there's a control mimic board. These is a kind of control desk where you can control the circuit breaker or isolator, or you can on off the devices, and you can isolate the feeder, or you can isolate the transformer, etc. And there will separate protection control monitoring equipment like fault recorder. There will be different relays. There will be centralized relay room, or it will be kiosk of control and protection. And if you see the field equipment are circuit breakers, CTs, VTs, reactors, transformers. They all run into the hard wiring towards the kiosk, and from the kiosk, the hard wiring to the control relays, protection relays, and to the control mimic board. If you wanted to see this kind of thing, that you can visit the Sri Perambudur substation very near to Chennai, where this older type of substations are already available and in working conditions. This situations is a pre-2008 in India, 2008. Before that, we all have this mimic board, control and protection, and this separate, and this all substations are hardwired with very long wirings. That period, 2000 to 2007, 2008 period, I was in the Power Grid of India. So that time we started the automation kind of things, working towards digital substations. So during that period, first step was to remove this mimic board and install the substation automation system, substation control. So this is the two stage here. One was this is very older type of things, and rather than I skip to this stage where we install substation controller with IEC 61850. That 61850 is a standard developed, evolved to standardize the communication protocol and to standardize the various devices which uses the communication system. That is the first step towards the digital substation. Before moving further, let me tell you, let me go to this slide. Yeah, is it visible? Sorry, if this slide is visible.
Slides, it is not changing.
Right.
Now it is visible. Now it is okay.
Actually, I'm not able to see which slide is I'm on.
It is substation secondary systems.
Yeah, substation secondary system. That's correct. Okay. So this is a if one particular part of the substation which shows the circuit breaker, VT, CT, and these are the control protection relays here, this part. And we in National Grid we call it such standard based solution. This is standardized. So we wanted to standardize so you reduce the engineering inputs. All these are hardwired, means all are this copper wiring going from field equipment to protection relays. And there will be control system which take input from the field equipment as well as the protection equipment. Right. So why we wanted to do that way, means protection separate, and why we wanted to go for digital substation? What is the rationale behind that? What are the problem with this existing one? If we want to understand that one, let us go to what are the challenges we found. These all electronic ID, there is a life 15 years to 20 years maximum. But substations life is more than 40 years. So all electronic devices will not survive for the whole life of the substation. So if you want to change a one protection device, let us say if you want to change this device, replace it, you have to isolate this one for safety point of view, and you need to take a shutdown, then only you can change it. So you require a isolation, long outage for to install. Plus you have, there is an issue of availability of the replacement, whether same device is available, or there are hardware interface input output. You need a long wiring to be change. And there is a difficulty if you want to add one other bay, another transformer you want to add to the substation. So there will be prior no standardization of protocol, so you require a proprietary communication protocol configuration. You means you have to go to the same supplier who will only extend the substation. That will be very costly things to do that. There will be very expensive post-delivery support because parts are obsolete. There is a different hardware, different firmware, different tools, and there will be shortage of knowledge and expertise. Who people may retire, people may leave the company, people will go somewhere else. Most important thing is outage. You need a 6 to 8 week outage to change a simple device, which is very costly things for the utilities. So to overcome these situations, you need to go towards digitalization. So what the digitalization means actually? Digitalization is a digital substation. One is at station level. You have to go, your equipments could be modified. You can make a CT, different type of CTs. Then you combine those things to process level. And you can apply some softwares, different software for different things, like for cyber security, asset management support, grid operation support, integrated support. You have to apply merging units, non-conventional CT, I already told you, process bus. These all things together will be making a digital substation. So digital substations, if we have already talked about this, when we go to station level, what do we mean by station level? At station level, we want to communicate from the substation to the station bus, and from station bus to network control centers. And also we need to talk to devices, local devices. Which is called process level. In process level, process bus will be taking the inputs from the field devices like circuit breaker or CT, VT, all those making together and converted to the digital signals through by merging unit and going towards station bus. That kind of technology is possible because we have now better communication system, better electronics, better devices available. This is the aim what we want to achieve. So what we have here is from the like the transformer. This is a CT, this is a disconnector, and the circuit breakers. We connect those all devices through switch boxes. Switch boxes is nothing but a switching device which can have different position available. So you can connect to one relay, you can connect to two relays, you can connect to one spare available. If you want to add future, you can add on that. This is just a switching device. It's not very common for all the utilities, but we found that this is a good thing to have. If you have this switch box, you can change it. Sorry about this interruption. So this is a this all things together here coming as a process bus, where you have a relays connected, where you have control system connected to the bus, process bus. What is process bus? Process bus is a communication, all merging all digital and analog signals coming here through fiber optics and going towards the station process station controller via station bus. Are we together with this at up to this level? Any you can interrupt me if you want to ask any time, right?
Yeah, they'll put in the chat box at the end of the lecture. Maybe we can have it.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So the main benefit for IEC 61850, this is actually IEC 61850 implementation. 61850 is a standard developed by SIGRE and is making the devices standardized, communication system standardized. So we can use multiple devices of different supplier at the same substation. If you want to change one device from ABB to Siemens here, IEC 6150 allowed it. So with the interpolability, you can change the devices. And with the switch box concept, you don't need a outage of the whole primary site. There is a spare things available. You connect to the spare side of the switch box and put the new device, test it. Once you start communicating with the station system, you can remove the older device. Very simple thing to do that. So that's the purpose of switch boxes. And with 6150, as I told, there is an interpolability for future substation extension. There is a change of ID itself. And with standard-based solution, we use standard design to reduce risk, cost, time of design, manpower, etc. With the process bus, you can use plug and play, install, replace, reduce outage. We have a vendor interpolability that already, then you can, there will be great advantages, PDSA support, post-delivery support. Whole wiring, copper wiring is reduced. Now only we have fiber optic running in the substation. It's a long-lasting, future-proof, and the installation cost is reduced. One thing we considered while designing those things as a protection system, this is a, because I was mostly associated with 400 kV substations grades, 400 and means EHV grades, where tripping time is very critical. we need to trip the circuit within 80 millisecond or so that there will not be any grid disturbance kind of things and grid can survive. So all tripping signals shall be received by the breaker within 10 millisecond excluding inter-trips, and that is a 10 millisecond timing from the control system and protection system to breaker. That was practice in India as well as in UK as well as other utilities. There is no single activity on main one system should affect to main two system. We should have always in EHV grid, we have one main one system, one main two system for protection. But for control, we normally have one system only. No single failure shall result in loss of control for more than one bay. So if you have a ID for control, there is only one bay, most probably will be out of control if you have a failure in that device. There will be different facilities available to isolate a bay for testing. You have a test switch, so you can put on the test mode and you can test the protection and control. So any particular area, if somebody can tell me which part of I should stress more. Hello. Hello. Do you want something more about some other particular area that let me do that way? Because half of the presentation is almost over.
Sir, you can carry on with your presentation. If they have any doubts in between,
Right.
yeah, let them ask.
Okay, right. So digital substation is a part of, we say, step towards the smart electric grids. Now this is another concept coming, smart electric grids, which is evolved from the period of more than 15 years back that people start talking about the smart grid. What do we mean by smart grid? In traditional grid, we have basically all power system element, synchronous machines, generator, transformers, substations, all are connected. And there is a one-way communication only, means once fault is there, fault will be isolated by protection system and then control person will inform to grids that this part needs to be isolated. But there is no intelligence in that. There is no automatic system. Only automatic system is a protection devices. So protection devices will trip the circuit breaker. But how to manage that disturbances? That feature was not available in the traditional grid. If traditional grid has a capacity inertia enough, so it can survive. If there is no inertia available or no other devices which can be very fast availability, then grid will have a disturbances. For example, in India, I think few years back we have a great disturbance. In UK also we have a disturbance 1.5 years back. That's why the new concept is coming, smart grid. Smart grid is basically a communication system. All devices are intelligent devices and they are communicating it. It has a different philosophy of it, means different protective things available, more storage kind of things available, like we have a battery storage where you can store the energy, and during the peak time or any other eventuality where there is some circuit are lost, then this battery system will start giving power to the grid. It will act as a generator for short time. Then we have a other system available like STATCOM, which will give you the fault powers or VR supports. All those part of the grid, smart grid. Smart grid will start from the smart meter. First thing is smart meters. You need a smart meter. Smart substations. You need smart appliances. Smart substation is a digital substations which have a all operations, of circuit breaker, their transformers through properly managed and controlled. Smart meters that will communicate to the grid directly how much power is consumed. Bill will generate automatically. That is, smart meters are everywhere. It now is installed and in the process of installing. That will also tell the consumer how much power he is consuming. And it will also act as a input to the grid that what will be the future demand. Next 15 minutes, what will be the demand? So you can have a statistics available every 15 minutes interval. So you can predict the demand for next 15 minutes, what will be the demand and what will be the required energy. So you can plan grid operator can plan how much is the generation required, how much the war supports required. So all those possible because of smart meters. Then smart appliances are also coming, which will give the consumers a predefined preference level when he wanted to consume the energy. For example, in the UK, we use time devices in the washing machine. We put the washing machine in the night with just a timer after, because power is quite cheaper after 1 o'clock in the night to the morning 7 o'clock. So that time, if you run the washing machine, it will be very cheap energy. It will consume very cheap energy. So you just use smart appliances. You can have your dishwashing in the night, or this kind of things are coming now. So these are part of the smart grid. Smart grid is evolving now with the smart substation, smart meters, and smart appliances. But every digitalization have a drawbacks as well. Like you have computer virus, so there's a cyber security problems now coming. So cyber security is a big threat coming in the grid kind of thing. So now we have to use this cyber security softwares and processes and procedures to secure your grid. So you need to have your grid as cyber secure. Grid operation support. This is another area of smart grid. You need a PMU, this phasor measurement unit, to know your status of the grid at various points. So install a phasor measurement units. You install wide area monitoring systems, WAMs, and fault recorder is already is started from the traditional to now. Is still we have fault recorder everywhere. So wide area monitoring requires real-time detection of instabilities, power swing, islanding, overload, blackout, etc. And fault record analysis, you need if there is some fault in the power system. So you have a fault record available with you. You can analyze it those records will be transmitted to the concerned person who can analyze, and or it can be software based which will analyze what could have been the cause of fault and how this type of fault will not occur in future. So that support is possible in a smart grid as well as in digital substation. There will be self-healing applications. There will be load management and voltage control. The grid has a capability, smart grid will have a capability to locate the fault, automatically locate the fault and self-heal itself, means it's automatically isolate the faulty power system element and initiate the other devices like battery operated devices which will give the power to the grid. This is the all I wanted to tell about this one. I'm open to the discussion now. That will be more helpful if we know the question, what are the questions available, so I can answer whatever I can.
Is it possible to change the existing conventional stations? Is the existing conventional stations for converting to digital substation? Will it take a long sort of time and cost, or only new substations will be digital?
No. It can be converted like this. You see here, if you see this example here, substation secondary system. We can convert this one to using this merging unit, like where like merge switch box, and you just convert all the CT, older CT and wiring. You install a merging unit here or transducer to the wiring, and you put a merging unit. Merging unit will convert the analog signal to digital signals, kind of things. There are devices available now.
The switch box is the merging unit, is it?
Yeah, it's not a merging unit, not shown here. This is a merging unit here. Switch box to merging unit.
Okay.
Yeah. So merging unit is a kind of transducer available, which can put this analog signal to digital signals and convert the waveform and go to the relays.
Okay.
Because you can't remove all the older devices at a go or in only new substations. We have to control most of the older substations. We have most, like in the 300 substation in UK. So all has more than 250 substation would be of older type of substation which have a hard wiring.
Yeah.
But one thing is that there is a not very big need to convert everything. If you are able to control, if you are having robust processes available to or you have a manpower available, then you can continue. But if you want to remove device one bay by one bay, we can do that. Like if this relay required to be changed, this is already 15 years. So grid is now in UK, we are doing that way. Means our assets are old now, so they need replacement. So when we are replacing those things, so we are going towards the digital substation, those kind of things. So it's a very mixed kind of technology now coming.
But the primary equipments will remain as such.
Yeah, primary requirement is still means this is under already optical CT is available, but still because life of primary equipment is 40 years.
Yeah.
And to change a device CT, let us say CT we want to change, so you need a outage. And why you want to change if it is serving your purpose? It is a costly thing, no?
Right.
Yeah. So unless the life is gone, or there is a fault, circuit break means CT has gone bad, then you change it. Probably changing to the more at present we are not means in National Grid UK we are not planning to change optical CT immediately. Yeah, not doing it. We'll this will because National Grid has not installed any fully digital substation as on today.
So that means both digital substation and the existing conventional substations can coexist.
Yes. Even the bay level, they can coexist.
Okay.
Even in the bay means in the one substation, you can have one bay fully digital, one bay is totally traditional.
And then how will you get into the IEC 61850?
You see, IEC 61850 is from the protection relay to the substation controller.
Okay.
Not towards the basic devices. And plus, when you go to the remote control, you use another IC. Maybe means it will not be fully digital substation, so it will be not tapping the full power of 61850. But still, it is serving the purpose. Ultimate aim is it should be cost effective. And it should not be have a much burden on the consumer, because there is a regulator here. Regulator will reduce your cost. He doesn't want to increase the bill of the consumer. So he will not allow any change unless it is absolutely required.
Okay.
Sir, what about the sensitivity of the conventional CT compared to the
sensitivity means sorry,
measurement output
measurement. So there is this CTs, conventional CTs has accuracies.
Yeah.
So there will be different accuracies for different kind of application. For example, for metering purpose. Yes. For metering purpose is a 0.2%.
Okay.
Is a class 0.2. Class 0.2 means it is only 0.2% error. And for protection purposes, it should reflect true waveform. So that is called precision CTs, PS class or PX. What is PS class? Yes, PS class. Yes.
So now, if you go for the sensors now, CT sensors,
yeah,
exactly it will have the same. That's what perhaps that gentleman was asking.
Yeah, all right.
The accuracy.
Okay. I think that is because in HVDC these optical CTs have already been used from the long time, so they have the same accuracy. Because unless you have a 5% accuracy range, you will not able to use for protective devices.
Okay.
Yeah, protection relay is required. At least CT should give you the details within the 5% accuracy.
What will be the you have in the conventional CTs? like VK, IMAG, and all that. For
Yeah, that is not
CT,
required for the optical CT. That is not
what
required.
what will be the specification for that?
Yeah, because there is I'm not I don't know the specification myself, but for the protection optical CT, you don't need any KPV, magnetized current, etc. because it is converting to the digital signals, digital waveforms.
Okay, okay. The same conventional way of testing the CTs will be there. Testing the CT.
So I don't have experience of that, so I'm not able to tell that thing because I'm not associated with optical CT yet.
Okay. So you compare the cost of the conventional station and a digital station. Suppose everything alike, the number of bays and the other things. What will be the cost comparison? It will be digital be cheaper or costlier?
Yeah, you see, I have done one cost comparison way back in 2005, right? That time I will forget of India. That time we are using, we just move from middle of this, instead of fully digital substation, we just use the primary plant as a conventional one, and other things, substation automation and relays as a digital communication. So that was quite a cost saving things. It's quite, you save on the copper cables.
Okay.
You save in the copper cables, and you save on the installation time.
Okay.
Time will reduce. Yeah. Main advantage is because you want to change relays because there is a life 15 years only. So different asset will mature different time. So you need to change those kind of things. So you don't need outage. Outage is a big cost. I don't know about Indian outage cost, but here in UK, if you want to take outage of the particular circuit, you need to go to DNO, and DNO will say no, he's not allowing it. So it will take a lot of time to agree on the outage.
But when the fault occurs, then the outage is normal.
That time that is okay, but because fault time, that circuit will be out, but there is other feed available. But if you do outage for 6 weeks, so circuit will be out for 6 weeks, then another circuit, there will be parallel path only available. So if there is something wrong with the parallel path, then he will be out of supply. So there will be risk of that. So they don't want to take that much risk. No, we consumers are very aware here.
Right. No? Well, why is it called the process bus in 61850? What is the purpose?
This name is because it's processing the raw data, basically. What I understood it. It's because it's raw data available from right from the source. So it's called process. This is processing bus. So it's not. I don't know what this IC 61850 might be a better definition for that.
Because generally process, arrangement in the chemical plants and all that, where the process is going on.
It's same kind. Actually, it's all comes from that side, no? Automation. From chemical plants. They have taken those area and tried to automate same way to the substations.
Okay.
So it's originated from this big chemical or process industry.
Yeah, process industry. Yeah. That's why it's called process bus.
They remain that same term, process bus, because process bus is a kind of all converting analog to digital.
Okay.
So there's a question on the chat box.
Yeah.
Actually, the question is how substation built in India differs from abroad on addressing the transmission losses over long distance. How many step-down transformers were followed in the abroad substation?
That is very wide area of loss kind of thing, because loss is because there are different utilities here. No, in India also you have a grid, 400 kV, 765 and 1200 kV grid. That there will be very less losses in the grid. But once it's go to distribution network, and from distribution, because 400, let us say we stick to 400 to 275 or 220, there is a transformer there, and then from 220 to 132 kV or 60 kV, or finally, because consumer is using either 415 volt or 230 volt, or using big industrial plants 11 kV, 33 kV. So losses, you can't compare the losses like that, but it will be less losses. It's not, because in India also loss is not very high. Its loss is high, figure is coming because you are not able to take the money from the consumer. It is lost or theft.
Theft,
Yeah.
not
So
loss.
that is what that caused the problems actually. So with a smart meter, you can have that solution available. Means you know that how much, where power is, my power is flowing towards this much, and then I only getting readings of this much. So you can find out that with the smart grid and smart substations, you can find that where the power is going. You can investigate that. But without in traditional substation, you can't do that, because meter reading will be coming only after 1 month. And with the smart meter, you can have a online everything at every second. You can have that reading available. And step down transformers, about that will same level. Here we use power at 110 volt. And 230 volt. There's 230 volt. Most of the place 230 volts. So step down is same. Step downing is, I can understand, is same.
For controls and all that in digital substation, do you use the same like 220 volt DC, like what we have the batteries? Is it like that? The same?
Here people are using 110 volt.
100 volt DC. That is
DC,
the battery.
DC batteries, yeah.
That is conventionally used. The battery system is
it's
there.
conventionally used, and it is for lasting for 8 hours. Rating is up to 8 hours. Yeah. But big thing is coming now is battery storage. For the grid is, batteries. So they are coming in big way. So many grid, battery storage plants are coming, and those plants are directly connected to the grid through inverter. This technology with IGBTs, no, is that's very fantastic technology. Means is changing everything.
Yeah.
Even our roof generate, we can install our this solar power on roof, and it can directly connect to the grid. You can get the payment from the grid.
But this morning there was a lecture about this inertia problem with this new generation renewables coming in with the lower inertia. It creates all this under frequency, and suddenly
that problem is coming. Yes, doctor. This problem is coming because fault level is reducing now because of more this solar power, wind power. They don't contribute to the fault. They don't contribute towards inertia. So now there is a process is initiated here to increase the grid inertia. So there is some static synchronous machines. That is not a rotatory machine. That is based on IGBTs. That is under development now.
Static
synchronous machine.
Okay.
It is IGBT based.
Okay, to improve the inertia.
Yeah, to improve the inertia. Instead of earlier, you see, we have a rotatory synchronous machines available for make inertia increase, but
Yeah.
rotatory is very difficult to maintain and it's very costly as well. So this device is there. We have
But this
installed
is
even in India. Several Stratcom had been installed already.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
This is nothing to do with the digitization.
it is for grid smart grid kind of things, not with the digital substation. There's nothing to do with the digital substation. Digital substation is a substation's control, protection, and communication towards the grid.
Dana, is there any other questions now? Shall we?
Yeah, you can send if you have some questions or something something is required, you can give my email to them, then I can reply to them. No.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll collect the questions. Let them send the questions to us in mail so that we'll
Yes,
follow.
because this subject also new to me because I've also not miss fully. Grid has not done digital substation itself fully digital substation, so we are only evolving. I'm a basically protection engineer, so protection engineer I made the slides. This doctors requested me to do some talk about that, so I made those slides.
That is it's good. I mean, this is what
Yeah.
we want actually. They like what is the practical challenges and what are the practical problems. Because we wanted our academic people also to know what are the real issues. It's not only
Yeah.
everybody is talking of conventional, digital, smart grid, but what exactly is that and what exactly is how much each one is involved.
Yeah. You see, doctor, this is the issues. Basically, we have done this. No, these issues are these issues are basically quite elaborate, cost-consuming issues, which I have presented implementation issues and challenges.
Yeah.
This has been presented to us Ofgem, that is
Oh,
regulator here.
okay, okay.
Yeah, and they wanted means grid has put a plan to replace most of the protection system, very old protection system. We are still using CAG 34,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
personal
yeah.
protection some places.
Yes, yes, yes. I have
Yeah,
seen in New
yeah,
York also, they have used old brown Bowery electromechanical relays.
yeah. So
Sambasivan was showing me that.
yeah,
In New York, I mean, then they was telling, no, what is this? The most advanced country using the old electromechanical relay
yeah.
of brown Bowery, which
Problem
is now,
is it's not utilities are not independent here. No, like in
yeah,
India, you can do lot more changes, lot more flexibility available. Here, everything is controlled by regulator.
okay, okay.
And regulator, we say if CAG 34 is working fine, then why you want to
Why
replace
you want
it?
to change it?
It's the main thing here.
Yeah.
And to convince him, because those are
I,
lawyers, no? There are
yeah,
lawyers
yeah.
basically. Yeah. And
Yes, yes.
lawyers, you see, they have it's not like a lawyers in India, these lawyers are here very smart. They have vast knowledge.
Smart lives. Like
Yeah,
smart
smart.
grid, smart lives.
You can't,
See,
they won't get easily convinced.
right. In our college, we have set up a lab, protection lab,
Right.
for the benefit of the attendees also, I am telling.
Yeah.
This is like a control room of any power station or a substation. We have all relays installed. We have generator protection, motor protection, transformer protection, distance relays, brake control units, everything. We have taken it from present GE, Palavaram in Chennai. And they are installed and we can do all experiments there. We can run the ComTrade files taken from the earlier trippings and all that to recreate the faults. And then we invite other attendees to come to our college and do the experiments after the pandemic lockdown is over. We welcome all the attendees, anybody who wants to do further research and actual practical experiences. We invite everybody to come to our lab It's developed under the DST scheme, and many people have visited from the industry also, and they said it is better than any industry labs. So that's that. Yeah, next time when you come to India, you can also see my lab.
Yeah, I will see. I will visit one if I next once I come next to the India, possibly. If I will try to come.
Yeah. And
sorry, I just forgot one issue to be told you. That this is because we for the optical CT, right? From optical CT, once you are converting this or optical CT to the relay, connectivity to the relay, the synchronization is very important, time synchronization.
Okay.
Because for protection device like line differential protection, that will be taking this end signal and another end signals.
It should be synchronized.
Yeah, this time synchronization is very important because otherwise you will get tripping, false tripping to that system. So that area is still means under investigation or under more research is required on that area.
Okay.
So how that protection relay behave for out of synchronism data.
Yeah.
Right, in that case.
I think Dana, can we end the program now?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir, for giving us insights on digitization of at the station level and at the process level, and giving us many ideas and the challenges in the substations. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for your presentation.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you on my behalf and from our college and from all the attendees. We definitely thank you very much for sparing your time. You're taken permission from your national grid to spare this time for us, and really it's a wonderful lecture. We took a lot of valuable informations. It will be useful for us. As I said earlier, there are a lot of people who want to do research on these areas. And they can use our college lab to promote.
Yeah, Manchester University. You see, Manchester. I have been to Manchester University 6 months back.
Yeah,
they have developed means full digital substation kind of control and protection lab. Okay,
same lines we have done.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Same lines, like the bay control units, everything is.
Yeah. Okay.
A real substation control room.
Yeah,
except that we don't have the primary equipments outside. But
for that you can use this RTDS.
Yes.
RTDS, if you can secure RTDS, this costly device, yes, of course.
Yeah, we have started with this. Now once the research surge picks up, maybe we can add some more equipments, like what you say, the RTDS or any other artificial transmission line, ATL and all that.
Yeah.
We are looking into that.
All right. Or you can install a cheaper solution. It means you can use those special MCCBs as a circuit breaker.
Yeah.
Those have with coils, the tripping coils and closed coils kind of things available. Simple devices that will be much more realistic kind of thing instead of phone. That's only voltage is not there, but otherwise
the current rank is.
Yeah,
and we are doing testing with the Omicron test equipments. All the relays. We have demonstrated the testing of the relays through the Omicron test equipments by some of our suppliers as well as people who are involved in the testing. So we actually want to create a place where people can get trained, before even getting into the substation area, or people who are already in the industry, if they want to learn something on the basics as well as the other details, they can also come. We want to start some sort of programs, short program. This training for 1 week was a AICTE sponsored. This is for a different topics, but for focused on protection testing, we can do.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you are a protection engineer and you will appreciate that, because a lot of protection expertise is required.
Yeah, you see, we have been trained here. No, even after having so much experience, I have devoted almost 2 years here for training, and they took real examinations.
I see.
Then only they authorized me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a textbook exam. Means almost I have to write in 6 hours. There's one exam called setting engineer examination that took 6 hours. 6 hours exam. Yeah. Real problem solving kind of things.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye.